We have Major League games underway to get you updated on, and we got 2-start pitchers to grade for next week here on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Hope you'll join us. Welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast, brought to you by WynnBET. I'm Clay Link here with FSWA Hall of Famer Todd Zola. Todd, we have made it. We are in the midst of the 2022 baseball season. It feels good. We got games underway, more getting started as we speak here. And 4-4 game in Boston, home runs by Rafael Devers, Anthony Rizzo, Giancarlo Stanton, and DJ LeMahieu in that game. So playing long ball there in the Bronx. Did you see that Stanton homer, by the way?
Yeah. I saw it barely clear the wall. I saw it.
That was pretty wild. How are you on this Friday, Todd?
Other than that Stanton homer, I'm doing fine. That game, Rafael Devers, first pitch he saw, second hitter, just tanked it. So yeah, it's a typical Red Sox Yankees affair, if you will. Garrett Cole struggled early, sharpened up a little bit later on. I'm not worried. The Red Sox and both the Red Sox and the Yankees are going to hit a lot of pitches hard. You don't want to get goofy the first weekend of the year, and not everybody can be like Clayton Kershaw and not pitch until you're at home and avoid Colorado. So I'm just
that was nice of them to.
Yeah, I'm being I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just actually just pointing it out, if you will. But you don't want to pour your Dodgers. Heck of a way to start the season, huh?
Yeah, I'm hoping Walker Buehler can just hold his own tonight. I mean, I wasn't going to bench my first-round pick in a lot of leagues, but not how you wanted to start the season. Over in Detroit, the White Sox are up 3-1. Had a Eloy Jimenez RBI single, Jake Pollock RBI single, Luis Robert RBI double, and then the run scored by the Tigers was a Jamer Candelario single. The big news coming out of this game, though, is that Lucas Giolito left the game. Initially, I thought it was kind of just an opening day, short hook, pitch count type of thing, but then they announced that Lucas Giolito left with abdominal tightness in his left side. That could potentially be huge news.
Or hopefully just cramps. I don't know. Yeah. It absolutely could be. Already having lost Lance Lynn, having let Carlos Rodon go. It's counting on Dylan Cease to really take the next step. That is and it's a rotation. I don't believe they have playoff aspirations. I think they have World Series aspirations as well. They should. So now we're counting on Ronaldo Lopez, as you mentioned. Michael Kopech remains to be seen. If he's treated with kid gloves early on, and of course Dylan Cease. So because Dallas Keuchel is what he is, so that's going to be interesting. And I think everybody is so evenly matched in that division, AL Central, that if the White Sox come down to peg, I think this Detroit, Minnesota, and Kansas City, and then Cleveland, they could, I don't want to say beat each other up, but it could be a close race. If and keep in mind the White Sox already lost Yohan Moncada.
Yeah, he's on the IL to start the season. 3 weeks, I think, too.
Yeah, at least 3 weeks. So
yeah, I think there is some kind of blow up potential with that rotation, and maybe the door opens for some of the other teams in that division. Twins, Tigers.
Yeah,
I think could be right there in that mix. So yeah, I think they were the heavy favorites, but if this proves to be something big for Giolito, that could really hurt the White Sox.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber didn't take long to introduce himself to the Phillies faithful. Hit a homer, and then he walked in his second plate appearance. So started that bottom of the first with a homer off Frankie Montas. So not taking long to get on the board there for Schwarber. But we'll keep you updated as the games progress here today, and we'll be grading 2-star pitchers momentarily. But I was shocked yesterday to see Tony Santillan get the first save for the Reds. And sorry about our Robert Suarez shares, Todd. I don't know you an apology there, but I know we were both feeling that pain with our ratios yesterday.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not giving up on on Suarez. It does look like that Taylor Rogers, Ty Rogers, or Teddy Rogers, or whichever one of the Rogers they had, Taylor Rogers, just being silly, Mr. Rogers. Um, not giving up on Suarez. Uh, as I don't want to say as we talked about on tomorrow's MLB Network radio show, but as you mentioned on tomorrow's MLB, I know what you're going to say. I have a feeling you're going to bring up that Suarez may have had some jitters. I think it's probably true.
I think that's probably. I mean, he's one of the best closers in Japan. He just seemed a little wild. Maybe the adrenaline was a little too dialed up, and I think that's just probably natural for a lot of guys. You come in, you put a lot of pressure on yourself to, lock down a save in your first big league appearance. I just think I am probably honestly cutting him because Bob Melvin said that after the trade that Taylor Rogers is his closer. But it's not like, those 3 earned runs against Suarez are going to kill my fantasy season.
Yeah,
I probably will be cutting him.
It's contextual, right? I mean, if in a NL only league, I kind of can't. Right. If there's scenarios where it makes sense to cut him, TGFBI or something like that, yeah, I'll probably think about it as well.
I had David Robertson in a lot of leagues, so it kind of evened out with the Suarez. You never like to kind of negate all the good your other players do, but that'll be the case throughout the year. So you hit on some specs like David Robertson, you miss on some others like Robert Suarez. But I didn't have Tony Santillana on my spec list at all, so that one threw me for a loop. And Art Warren didn't even appear in that game. Luis Sessa in the 6th. It was kind of weird, but I think it will probably be a committee situation there. By the way, on the other side of that Taylor Rogers trade, do you have a favorite to close in Minnesota, or not really?
Yeah. I think we're in the same situation that we were earlier, that we don't know if it's Jorge Alcala, but I think his chances are improved of capturing the job. I think that the team will probably settle on. I mean, I know that they use kind of a committee left, right, because that's just the way it's been set up the past couple of years. But I don't know that. I don't think Pagan is just such a lockdown guy that it can be assumed that it's Emilio Pagan. So that's an interesting question. And I think the answer is obvious because you just alluded to it. If you have a choice to cut Suarez or Alcala, who are you cutting? I think it's going to be Suarez, where a week ago, it would be the other way.
Yep. I got Suarez. I think I was fighting you for Robert Suarez in the staff keeper league auction last night. But thankfully, I was spared because, since we did the draft last night, we were able to make retroactive moves. So at least in that league, I was able to get Suarez the hell out of my lineup. But I do kind of feel for him. I do think it was probably a lot of jitters making his big league debut in a save situation.
Yeah. See, I didn't feel the need to fight you last night take it any higher because it is a key. I only have Craig Kimbrell. Mm-hmm. And it's an 18-team league. So I don't know if you need to walk out of it with 2 saves.
2 closers.
2 closers.
Yeah.
Some people walked out with 2 saves.
I might.
But I think in this particular league, there's some pretty serious future trade. I mean, 18 teams. I mean, there was probably 80% of all. There was not 80. Let's not exaggerate. I didn't calculate inflation because I don't really believe in the well, I know it exists. I don't believe you can put a number on it, or whatever the number is. It doesn't make sense because the high players are going to go for more. And, eventually it's going to be deflated anyway. So I don't worry about it. But point being, 18-team league, there was a lot of air quote overpaying. Because of the nature of some of the really good keepers.
Yeah, with the keepers and just how long that league has been around, the inflation is just off the charts. I was hoping I grabbed Pagan in that league, I think for 5, just because I didn't have a closer. But I immediately went to see if I could get Alcala too, and he was already owned. So,
exactly.
I mean, when you got 15 big league keepers and 10 minor league keepers, the pool gets thinned a hell of a lot. But I thought that was pretty fun last night. By the way, use our My Leagues feature at RotoWire. I never plug this enough, but the My Leagues feature, fantastic. With a click of a button, you can import your league data directly from CBS, Yahoo, all kinds of sites. And
Otno, I use it for Otno.
yeah, Otno too. And you can kind of, it just makes things a lot easier given that you kind of have a live cheat sheet right on the site that you can kind of, use there. You don't have to do it manually, crossing players off. It's pretty darn nice. So highly recommend you check out our My Leagues feature. You have all that in one handy spot. It'll help you with pickups and the probable starters as well. Todd, anything on your mind before we get into two-star pitchers for next week?
No, we're getting into two-star pitching. Well, I mean, we can kind of talk about the two-star pitching in general this particular week because it's the third, fourth, and fifth starters. They're not very good. They're not very good. But I think we learned last year that it will mix up, and but that happened a lot because of the rain. And who's to say we've already had rainouts now? But there were fewer two-star pitchers in general. So if your strategy is to stream two-star pitching, you got to be a little careful. And it's just that's what we're here for, obviously. But be a little bit judicious. And that's why when I do the rankings, I include a reliever now to give you a feel for where non-closing reliever compares to a back-end starter. So anyway, but I'm going to write this all up for Z Files as a primer. But
nice.
Yeah,
I wanted to throw a little. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to babble, so I'll let you talk.
Well, I was just going to say that I'm going to change my approach to this a little bit this year because I know there was some talk with some really good NFBC players, including Phil Dussault, who had like the best season ever, that, streaming starters maybe isn't the best way to go. You can maybe do more harm than good if you're playing too much with the fringe guys. So I'm going to be a little bit more conservative with my grades, I think, this year. We'll continue to do the 0 to 5 scale, but expect me to be leaning more towards the bottom end of the scale this year.
See, it's interesting because my research backs what Phil says, but it kind of comes with an asterisk, okay? The research I've done, and I've done it on 2 or 3 different NFBC seasons, is the teams that compete are successful with their streaming. And this kind of makes sense, but it's kind of like a catch-22. But more teams fail than are successful. So on one end,
it's hard to hit those buttons. Right.
So that's the point. That's the thing. Is it's so many teams, and I make teams, fantasy managers fail. Why do it? Well, because the ones that win do it successfully. So I don't know that the answer, and you might be right. I don't know. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know. I don't know that the answer is to not stream. It may be to be even more judicious with your streaming, which I think is what you're saying that you're going to do.
Yes.
And I think, and maybe that's what Phil's saying too. I don't think you want to go willy-nilly and just to pile up the Ks and pile up the potential wins.
Because they aren't worth the ratio damage.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where this is why it's a catch-22. It's really, really, really hard. And by what I'm rating as successful is and then this is projections, so I know, grain of salt. But if you take your this isn't even projections. This is done with the actual numbers. So if you take your drafted rotation, your top 9, and at the end of the year, figure out what their ERA and ratio was based upon, for the full season's numbers. The teams that win have a ratio better ERA, and I would say higher, lower, because what does it mean higher and lower? Have better ERAs and whips than that they drafted, which means the only way to do that is to manage your staff successfully, right? Avoid the pitfalls and put the good starts in. The other 13 teams have worse ERAs and whips than what was drafted performed by their first 9 pitchers. So it's like, in order to win, you need to improve your ratios from what was drafted. but it's so hard to do. So I think I think you may have landed on it there, where maybe you just need to be more judicious in it. And I admit I'm kind of aggressive. Maybe it's because the years that I do well, I not only, I drafted well, but I also picked well in my aggressiveness. I don't know. So I'm going to kind of keep the same style, but maybe I need to be more confident with the evaluation of the pitchers.
Well put. Yeah, I am going to be more judicious in my streaming, and my grades here on this podcast will reflect that. I think I've just played with fire a little too often in the past, and you don't want that good work from your aces to be undone. It's just probably going to be skewing more towards the 2s and 3s and even lower than that.
Part of the problem is, all right, I mean, we know the pitcher's skills, okay? Now we have to adjust it based on the matchup. We're not sure what the opposing offenses are going to be right now. And we're not even sure about the pitcher's skills with the ball and the weather and the a couple of the different rules quirks that have gone on in the short run up to spring training. So there's a lot of question. Here's another catch-22, okay? April usually is the lowest ERAs. So if you're going to stream, you want to stream in April, but we know the least about the pitching.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the guy only goes 4 innings anyway.
Plus these X factors like the humidors and the baseball. You still don't know a lot about the 2022 game.
Yeah.
Right?
So a lot of, and there are a couple of eye-popping rankings in the initial rankings that I did for 4 and 11-day periods, and I'm sure there'll be some oddities in tonight. One of them was pointed out, and I'm standing by it, and they're just recommendations. But Bailey Ober came out a couple spots higher than Robbie Ray, and there were 2 reasons. Was they're not facing each other; the teams are facing each other, and I think it's in Minnesota, so that favors Ray. And I think the matchups, one's going Friday, I think Ray's going today, and Ober on Sunday. So the win potential tips towards Ober's favor based on their relative matchups, if I recall correctly. We just don't. I mean, the other thing with Ray is we're just, we're not exactly sure what Robbie Ray is right now, and we're not exactly sure what Bailey Ober is right now. So, I got an LOL in the comments, and that's fine. That's what it's there for. I've gotten a lot worse, that's for sure.
Same.
So, it's all good. But am I rooting? I'm not rooting for Robbie Ray to fail. I don't want to say that, right? But I am rooting for Bailey Ober to crush it, just because I can say, well, look, the rankings, the system works. So, but yeah, the point being, there's going to be some real weird, eye-opening things, just in baseball and on my rankings, just because of I'm so formulaic that I don't junk in, junk out. I'm not going to call it junk, but I am going to call it highly variable. And I mean, I'm not that confident in the inputs right now because we haven't had any of the season.
I'm with you there. Well, before we get into the 2-start starters, let's take care of a little business. We'll be back on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast after these brief messages. And now we are back on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. And before we move on, I just saw a comment in the chat room from a B Shot, maybe a
not Bryson Scott,
maybe a relative of Marge Shot. Let's hope not. But he says, Clay, you like Zola more than James Anderson, huh? And I do love you, Zola, but that's not the case. There's no favoritism here. I just came off the Wednesday pod because James and I do 2 hours on XM on Friday, 2 hours Saturday, and we just have so much else going on. So
why would you say
as much as I like you, Todd, I don't have a favorite here.
I'm surprised. I mean, I don't get where the comment come from.
Oh, I think because I'm not on the Wednesday pod anymore.
Oh,
James is doing that with like a rotating guest spot.
Don't
read into that like me and James are not friends. He's one of my best friends in life, not just in the industry.
Maybe you do like me more. Okay, got it. No, I
just wanted to address that.
I mean, at least you're still potting. Our friends Tristan Cockcrops and Eric Carabel had their their last ESPN pod yesterday, which is kind of a shame. So
that is a shame.
They've part of what they've done has kind of paved the way for what we're doing, and Nate Ravitz and Matthew Berry before them. So it help make podcasting a viable platform in this industry.
Yeah, I saw that, and I love those guys. They're super nice to me when I've met them in Arizona, and I just want to let you know that James and I are still doing plenty of media together, and no hard feelings whatsoever there. I think it was just time for him to take that on himself, and there's a lot of quality control we have to do behind the scenes here.
And he's kind of doing what Jeff does on Thursdays.
Yeah, the rotating guest spot.
Yeah, and we've mentioned there are so many up and coming prospect hounds in this field.
Just smart people everywhere in this industry.
Yeah, I don't know if James is going to continue to have the prospect tilt, but I think that's wonderful. And James does such a great job too.
Yeah, he killed it in the offseason. He kind of took the reins on the offseason pod. We didn't used to do an offseason pod, but he did a great weekly job on that. And I think that it's good that'll kind of be his baby, and he can invite people on. And our Friday and Saturday XM shows will be nice and fresh.
Yep.
Just wanted to address that. I love James, so obviously don't read into me coming off that show. All right, Todd, let's get into it. There are no 2-start starters for Arizona tentatively. I guess they could use the off day Thursday to start Zach Gallen twice, but for now we will skip Arizona. And again, you can check out our probable starters grid, constantly changing and updating with new information. So consider these 2-start starters we're discussing extremely tentative, and be sure to check out the grid on Sunday before you do Fab for an updated look at what next week looks like. For the Atlanta Braves, Huascar Ynoa looks like he'll get 2 versus Washington at San Diego, and not a guy I ended up with on any team this year, Huascar Ynoa. Maybe I'm unfairly holding that, slip in judgment where he punched a lock or whatever against them. But, he's in that rotation, pretty good matchup. So maybe I'll look to remedy that mistake on not having any Huascar Ynoa and try to grab some this weekend versus Washington at San Diego. I'm going to give him, I said I was going to go more conservative, but I'm going to go with 3, I think.
Yeah, let's explain to the new people that we go 0 to 5.
Yep.
And we can consider, however you want to consider, that ranking. It used to be that if we're in 5 leagues, how many would we start him in? But that's kind of weird. It's just, percent, however you want to say it. To me, what I kind of do is if he's ranked in my top 20, I give him a 5, my top 40 or 21 to 40, I give him a 4. But even that can be somewhat tenuous. But I'm going to agree with the 3 on Ynoa. I think that we catch a little bit of a break early on. Well, it's going to be for a few months with in San Diego without knowing the lineup or without knowing how the lineup's going to turn around. So I'm going to give Ynoa a 3. And I sure like to be in a league with you that he wasn't drafted, because even in the 12-teamers, wasn't he drafted?
Yeah,
I know you. I know what you were saying. If he's available, pick him up. Perhaps he slipped through the cracks.
Probably not in many leagues.
Right.
Maybe in 10.
He was hurt. Wasn't he hurt at the end of last year? So if it was in an early league, and there were some early leagues, perhaps he fell through the cracks.
And it looks like, at least tentatively, that he will be matched up on the Monday start against Joan Adon, who I don't know anything about. So, kind of an iffy option there for Washington. You got to think that helps Ynoa's win probability. So we're both at 3 on Ynoa. Then for Baltimore, Bradley Zimmer, or not Bradley Zimmer, he's the outfielder. Bruce Zimmer.
Not that it matters, but maybe you need to refresh, just because I got Anibal Sanchez. Going up against, or Aaron Sanchez. We have to figure. They've got
there is Anibal against Ynoa. You're right.
Yeah, I think Aaron has been sent down, but that's going to drive me and my V lookups crazy with A Sanchez.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. So it does look like will be against Anibal Sanchez,
which we do know that he's terrible. So
well,
we weren't sure about Adon, but we know. But anyway.
Well, yeah, we haven't seen Anibal even in like a couple of years, and he wasn't good back then. So I think that's fair to say. Bruce Zimmerman, I am going to go 0.
This is why we have zeros.
Yes, because there's not really any situation where I can envision picking him up. What about Michael Wacha, though?
And it's a Zimmerman-only league, and he's going against Jordan. I'd have to flip a coin. Michael Wacha, I'm curious as to – I'm hoping to hear some information, probably not before tonight when I have to post the rankings, but is he going to go 5 innings, or is Garrett Whitlock going to come in and pick him up or something like that? Or even Tanner Houck could do it on Monday, right? Because he's not pitching again to the weekend. Point being, I don't know if he's going 5 innings. So
yeah, that's questionable.
I don't mind the matchups with Detroit and Minnesota. So if I would start him just to get the ratios, etc., if I didn't have anybody else. But it's going to be like a 2 with an asterisk in that it could be a 3 if I know he's got no restrictions.
I actually had a 1. Again, I'm going a little bit
more
conservative.
I may go 1 and 2. You know what? I may go 1
okay,
and then 2 with the asterisk if there's no restrictions.
2 with an asterisk. All right, I'm writing these down so that we can recap at the end.
Yeah, well, that's
the matchups are pretty darn appealing for Wacha. So I at least expect to have him on a waterfall this weekend.
Yeah.
I think I have Nick Lodolo in a lot of leagues because I looked at next week. He's facing Cleveland this week. I think I'd probably rather have start him on 1 than Wacha on 2. But
well, that's what we're talking about 2 start pitchers. But for those new to the podcast and or the site, I rank every single pitcher. Yes. So I mean,
your weekly pitcher rankings are an invaluable tool.
Yeah, but it's ranking the 1 starts versus the 2 starts. Yep. So it bakes all that in.
All right, so we're both on Wacha 1, but you do have the 2 if the workload. If we find out that maybe he's,
I doubt we'll find out. So let's just call it a 1.
Okay, I hear you there. Let me just make that change in the sheet. All right, so next up, Drew Smiley. Now you get at Pitt, but then at Colorado.
Keep going. Yeah. Wow, so, I think we both lit up when we saw at Pitt, right?
Yeah.
And then we moved our eyes a few inches to the right and said,
Yeah. So I'm going to go 0 on Drew Smiley.
We say it. You know what? We say it every year. Colorado doesn't have a very good offense. If they lost Trevor Story, it's still Colorado. It's still Colorado. Yeah, I'm going to go 0 too. But you know what? We're going to get burned. There are going to be some pitchers that have a good outing in Coors. But if you try to pick and choose, you're going to get burned. Well, we just said you get burned. It's just not worth picking and choosing.
Over the course of the season, you're going to make thousands of fantasy baseball decisions between starts and sits, pickups. You're not going to bat 1,000. Yeah. You're not going to bat 1,000. So don't beat yourself up too much if you start a guy who slumps or
right. Everybody's going to make 10 mistakes. Don't make 11 and 12.
Right. So I was pretty impressed the other night with last night with Tyler Mahle. Looked really good, and it's against an Atlanta team in Atlanta that he shut down. So I was pretty impressed with Tyler Mahle. Now he gets to face Cleveland at home and then at the Dodgers. You don't like that second matchup, but Dodger Stadium pretty spacious, so. I think I want to reserve the 5s for the truly elite guys. So I'm going to go with the 4 for Tyler Mahle.
I agree. We're gonna disagree at some point. I know you and James never disagree, but we're going to disagree at some point.
Well, I like to be on the right side of history, so I try not to disagree with James. But no, we'll definitely be butting heads on some of these in time. But Aaron Savali at KC versus San Fran. This is one where I don't really think we're going to diverge too much because those matchups are pretty darn juicy for Aaron Savali.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He's not a 5. He's not an ace. So I think the most we can go is 4. And I like the
matchups. 3, but you go 4?
I'm a Savali guy.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard there's kind of renewed hype around him. Like it seemed like for a while that hype had died down after last year, but maybe at least with the beat writers in Cleveland, I've been seeing there's some hype. People think maybe this is the breakout that we were waiting for with Savali last year.
I guess I haven't. I haven't learned the lesson that you've learned, so I'm going to stay aggressive and say 4.
Austin Gomber, that's a 0, right? You're not thinking about starting Austin Gomber.
He was actually really good.
One of them is on the road.
He was actually really good last year, even at home.
Until he got hurt.
I wish he wasn't pitching in Colorado because I think he could be really good. But no. Oh, all right, here we go. Here's the trap, okay? It's the Cubs at home.
I can't do it, even though
doesn't that kind of get you? Doesn't it kind of make you think? But you're right. You just can't do it. You have to have a buzzer. You know what we need is and our tech is so good. Can they build something to shock you when you go to put Gomber in the lineup?
Shock therapy.
Yeah. Can Herb get on that?
When you think about going and picking up a guy to start at Colorado, yeah, you could talk yourself into it, but that's extremely dangerous. So don't listen to that guy on your shoulder telling you to pick up these guys. Ronaldo Lopez, man, when they're already in this point of starting Ronaldo Lopez as your 4, and then this injury to Giolito, we'll see. It's already looking a little shaky in this rotation for the White Sox. Ronaldo Lopez, I've been down this path too many times. He's a 0 for me.
You know what? He is a 0 for me, but he is I want to see, because like you said, I mean, the reason we're down a path is because he's given us a reason. So
true.
I will monitor it to see if I see, and with StatCast and with everything else out nowadays, we have a little bit more reliable, maybe that's too strong a word, but actionable short sample data to make a decision.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're right that, I'm not picking him up, but there were some flashes in the past. So maybe I should, I'm using the Robbie Ray rule, never say never. So
as recently as late last year, right?
Yes, I don't really remember that, but maybe he went on a run.
You've washed it out. Okay.
Yeah, I've been down that road with seeing flashes from Ronaldo, but again, I'm not going to write anybody off completely, so I'll at least see what he's doing. Check in on Ronaldo Lopez in a week or two. Tariq Skubal, Tyler Alexander, both lefties, both looking at 2 starts next week versus Boston, then at KC. Tyler Alexander is going to be a 0 for me. I didn't draft Skubal anywhere, so I kind of, maybe I'm not the guy to ask because I'm just kind of lower on Skubal generally. But Boston kind of scares me, so I'm going to go 1 on Skubal, 0 on Alexander.
I'm gonna go 3 on Skubal, and I'm not. I mean, there are people that are going to broke this as a 5. That's the Skubal. Truthers are going to. It is crazy. It's still betting on the come, but I do think I do like the second outing. I think he will strike some Red Sox batters out. We mentioned it's against Waka. It's at home, so I'm going to go with 3. But again, the people that are on him, if they were doing this with you, would be giving him a 4.
Yeah, that's a leap of faith I'm not willing to take yet. I need to see it a little bit. 2 off days next week for Houston, so it doesn't look like they have any 2 starts.
Because teams really need 2 off days this early in the season.
Yeah,
I know that's a figment of the schedule. And you know what? Maybe this goes away when they go to the balanced schedule next year. Maybe. That they're just fewer 5-day weeks. Because it may be there's still the same number of interleague games, so maybe it doesn't go away. But with a more balanced schedule, maybe that's harder to make a schedule. I don't know. Again,
no 2-star starters for Houston, but I'm excited to see Luis Garcia. It's kind of a bummer to have to swap him out of my lineups for this weekend. But at Arizona, it doesn't get much better than that for Garcia next week. Yeah. KC, Cesar, or I'm not. It's not Cesar.
Carlos.
Yes,
Cesar's
mistaken. 25-year-old
second
Carlos
base for the Washington.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I just had a brain fart there. But I know Carlos Hernandez kind of had a rocky spring, but I'm intrigued. Probably not enough to start him, even though these are at home against Cleveland and Detroit. Given the conservative approach this early, I'm probably going to say 1. I could see maybe in some league kind of shooting for the stars with Cesar Hernandez, but sorry, I keep saying Cesar. It's not Cesar, it's Carlos. But I can't really go much higher than a 1 on Carlos Hernandez.
Maybe because I'm in a good mood, because Bogarts just knocked in the go-ahead run in Yankee Stadium.
Did he? Nice.
With Jonathan Arauz sliding. Wow, that was a shallow. It was a bit. Just didn't go very far into left field. That's why I'm not an announcer. He hits it not very far into left field. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go to the matchups. Just for me. I mean, I know Detroit's got a better lineup than they've had in the past, but it's still not, daunting. I'm like the matchups enough to go 2, and I would pick him up if I was looking for 2-start pitchers. And you know what? We have to remember that there's 1 or 2 people out there listening to us that don't play in the NFBC. So they might not have the same concerns about, the pitching and streaming. It may be in a points league where it's a little bit less, threatening to, et cetera. But I do think Hernandez is worth picking up. I'm dumping him because he's going to have 1 start the following week, and it's not going to be good matchups.
Thank you for the update on that Boston Yankees game. I have an update from the White Sox Tigers, and for those cheering on closer chaos, you can kind of pump your fist because Liam Hendricks, second batter he faced this year, he blows a save. Eric Haas homer.
Wow.
So Liam Hendricks, number 1 or number 2 closer in pretty much every league, starting the year with a blown save. So.
This is me doing a victory lap. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, too early for victory laps, but it's not how you want to start the season if that's your second round pick.
I'm not running out and pitching up Kendall Graveman if that's what you want to know.
I hear you there. By the way, Andrew Vaughn homered in the top of the 9th.
Nice.
To give the White Sox a lead that before
nice.
Liam Hendricks squandered the lead. So maybe Vaughn is pulling the Undertaker gif right now. Back to our 2-start starters. Daniel Lynch for the other 2-start starter for KC with the Royals playing 7 games next week. He's a 0 for me.
Well, so that must be a wraparound series with Cleveland. Monday and then going to St. Louis. Or no, they wouldn't.
Did I say the wrong team?
No, you didn't. But
okay. I see. Yeah, because they played Cleveland on Monday, then St. Louis on Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, is that? I was going to say, is that one of the goofy early games? No. The Sunday games are the really goofy early ones, right?
Yeah.
All right, but
11.
I'm not even with the not terrible matchups. Although this Cardinals laid it on thick the other night, I'm not interested in Lynch.
All right. Well, we will get to the rest of these 2-start starters, but I hope you'll bear with me because I got to take care of a little bit of business here. WynnBET is now the exclusive sponsor for RotoWire's fantasy podcasts. WynnBET brings you all the latest action with a user-friendly interface, moneyline bets, boosted parlays, over-unders, round robins, live betting, and so much more at your fingertips. Want a break from sports betting? Head into WynnBET's digital casino and take a spin on roulette, double down at blackjack, slam the slots, or try your hand at baccarat. WynnBET is currently available in 9 states: Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia, while rapidly expanding. At WynnBET, the possibilities are limitless. Register for WynnBET today, make a qualifying deposit, and wager to receive $200 in free bets. Promotion may vary by state. Download WynnBET now. That's WYNNBET. WynnBET, the exclusive partner for RotoWire's fantasy podcasts. Also, bet against others with no fees involved. That's right, no pesky hidden fees to ruin your day. Better Edge is a social betting marketplace where there's no fee on each transaction. Better Edge is a social betting marketplace, and chances are it's legal in your state. We're bringing betting back to its social roots where you can like, comment, and challenge other users all within the app. Play without getting played at Better Edge. Go to betteredge.com. That's BETTOREDGE.com to sign up today. And then finally, baseball is back. That's right, an entire glorious season, all 162 games. And with live events resuming, you can actually be there to catch all the action in person with vivid seats. Every backdoor slider, every round tripper, and every doubleheader can be experienced live. And with Vivid Seats rewards, you can start earning free tickets from your very first purchase. Just buy, collect stamps, and redeem. It's that easy. From behind the dugout to upper level, Vivid Seats has you covered for all the games that matter to you. And a little pro tip, buy tickets for your whole group, split the bill, and make progress towards your free ticket even faster. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, life happens live. All right, Todd, no two-start starters for the Angels because they go 6-man and they have a day off. The Dodgers might be looking at Andrew Heaney for 2 next week. So at Minnesota for Heaney versus Cincinnati, a couple of good matchups, honestly. But, he had a kind of a rocky spring. And even with those K- walk numbers in recent years, he's still been getting knocked around. So I think I have Heaney in 1, like draft and hold. Maybe I'll start him, but I'm iffy on it. So I'm going to go 2.
I'm going to go. It's rare that I'm lower than you.
You're going to go 1?
I need to see it. I understand what he needs to do, but I don't think you snap your fingers and do it. So I'm going to go 1.
Okay, well, that's good. So we have a couple already that we're diverging on. So next up, the Miami Marlins, Eliezer Hernandez. So he got hit by a comeback earlier this week, and got to make sure he's all right. So that may kind of throw a little bit of a wrench into this. But at the Angels versus Philly, I like Eliezer Hernandez's skills, but I'm probably going to 1 here, and I'd have to be pretty desperate.
Yeah, I like the skills too. I like the two parks. I'm going to go up to 2.
Okay. I hear you on that. I got that marked now in the sheet. So as we push to the back half of these teams, we're starting to wrap things up. Adrian Hauser, Eric Lauer for the Brewers. I like Lauer a lot. Hauser I'm not as big on, but at Baltimore versus St. Louis, pretty good. So I think I'm going to go Adrian Hauser 1 and Eric Lauer 2.
I'm going to go 1 up. I'm going to go 2 and 3.
Okay. For Hauser 2, Lauer 3.
Yeah, you want a little more closer chaos?
Yeah.
All right.
So blow a save.
No. It's going back to the Red Sox Yankees. It's an extra innings. Matt Barnes has not pitched. Hanser Robles was brought in during the tie game to keep the tie in the 9th. Red Sox went ahead in the 10th, and Jake Diekman is on for the save.
Oh wow!
And Matt Barnes hasn't pitched yet, so whether or not I don't know. So that's curious that it's not like you burn Barnes in the 9th, right? Trying to in a tie game. So I'm not paying close enough attention. Could it be again? It's a guy in second base. The silly rule. Could it be that a bunch of lefties have been up for the Yankees and therefore this Diekman's in? Could it be that Cora doesn't want to bring Barnes into an inning with a runner on second? I don't know. There's a lefty up now. I'm not sure who's been up. So that's just something to watch. If nothing else, it doesn't. It shows that Barnes isn't the guy.
Didn't they kind of acknowledge that they were a little worried about his velo?
Yeah.
And that's still part of the equation.
I mean, the announcers talked about Cora has kind of indicated he'd like Barnes to be the guy, but this is a weird way of showing it. So
it sure is.
To find out, I'm trying to see the scenario now. There's now 1 out, men on second and third. So if a righty's coming up and Barnes, Barnes could, for I know, Barnes is coming in right now. I don't know. But I'd be curious to see if they don't bring Barnes in right now, especially if there's a righty at the plate. That's curious, And there is a righty at the plate.
Watch for that. Hopefully we'll get some news on Matt Barnes after the show.
So they're intentionally walking the righty. Not that people couldn't just watch the game instead of hearing me blab about it. But anyway, we're running late. Well, if something weird happens, I'll let you know. Let's knock the rest of these off.
Yeah, so no two-start starters for Minnesota, assuming Chris Paddock slots in.
And here comes Matt Barnes.
Oh, is he in now?
Well, someone's coming in.
You assume it's Matt
bases loaded, 1 out, and somebody's coming in.
Ooh. So is that game tied now, or the
Red Sox are still up 1?
It's not Matt Barnes.
I'm not sure who that is, but that's not Matt Barnes.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, it looked like Diekman had some issues. Hit DJ LeMahieu, intentionally walked Hicks, but kind of a mess back there at the back end of that bullpen.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the rest of these. So, again, no two-start starters for the Twins, assuming Chris Paddock slots in. Taijuan Walker at Philly versus Arizona. I like that second one, but Yeah, Taiwan was banged up in the spring, so I don't know how deep he's going to be able to go. I'm probably going to go, honestly, a borderline 0-1. I guess I'll give him a complimentary 1.
Yeah, I'd like to do one of those 1-2s where, I mean, it's probably going to be a 1. He pitched well, but he is a little bit banged up. I don't think he's going to go 5. So I'm going to go 1.
I'm with you there. What about Jameson Taillon, Nestor Cortez? Kind of like both these guys, but they get Toronto to start. I think Taillon I'm going to give a 3, and then Nestor Cortez a 2.
I'm going to agree. I'm just going to, for future weeks, I like Taillon, but I can't go 4 with these matchups.
You got Taillon last night in the staff keeper league, didn't you?
I was after
bidding on him.
Yeah, no, I was absolutely bidding on him. You do realize that I have Wander Franco, Spencer Torkelson, and Julio Rodriguez in this league, right?
Jesus, you have all three of those.
You know what? I'm not going to take credit. I inherited this team, so I did none of the dirty work. I did none
situation
of the dirty work.
To inherit.
Yeah, I did none of the dirty work.
So Paul Blackburn, Adam Oler for the Oakland A's. No reason to really give these guys a second thought, is there?
Not because, I'm interested in Oler just because Oakland always interests me because of the park. I'm not interested in that Toronto though.
Yeah, and you're not looking to pick him up in a mixed league and stream him right away, right?
No, I picked him up as a minor leaguer in the staff league.
Oh, did you? Nice.
But as a minor, we should point out real quick. Again, 18 teams, 8 minor leaguers. I think it is
10 minor leaguers. 10.
It goes pretty deep.
Yeah.
So you get your top guys. In other words, the players drafted last year. It's Ryan Brazier bring in for the Red Sox. Which is something has to be up to Barnes. Something
has about to be Ryan Brazier.
Yeah, something has to be.
He was the closer for a little bit. A couple years ago.
I hope it's not an injury. Hopefully, there's something else up. But anyway, so once I got whoever it was, number 3 rates prospect, I then went for the Josh Winders, the Adam Ollers, the guys that knocking because I have these delusions of competing this year. So anyway,
well, for the Phillies, Ranger Suarez and Zach Wheeler. Ooh. Now I'm not going to go full, Bill James and say Ranger Suarez is like a top 10 pitcher in baseball, but I do kind of like Ranger Suarez.
Yeah.
So versus the Mets at Miami, I think he's not going to be my first 5, but he's a 4. Because I'm saving the 5s for the elite, so he's a 4.
Well, there's another pitcher on that team with 2 games.
Yes, it said Zach Wheeler too.
You're not giving him a 5?
Well, Wheeler, I will give a 5. Yeah. But
okay.
Suarez, I just touched.
I wanted it one at a time. Yeah. No, I'm with you. 4 and 5. Yeah.
Okay.
We've got Wheeler in bold, which means it's confirmed, and if it's confirmed, he's going. So, I love the matchups. He may end up, as of right now, Wheeler is the clear number 1 on my rankings when it's posted sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, wasn't willing to give Ranger Suarez a 5, but I will give Zach Wheeler a 5. Although I do wonder how much how deep he'll go.
Suarez is going to be up there, top 10 right now. Taillon may show up there, but yeah, Wheeler, and I don't know who's coming up, but Wheeler's number 1.
Zach Thompson, Jose Quintana. Quintana's still hanging around, but 0s for me. No reason.
Yeah, neither of those guys will show up in the top 10.
Nick Martinez and Yu Darvish. Kind of interested to see what Nick Martinez could do. Probably, at San Fran, at Atlanta, I'm probably going to give him a 1. But Darvish is a 5. I think Darvish is in that 5 elite group.
He's in the 5. Curious to see where he ranks next to Wheeler. But, yeah, no, he's a 5.
Well, Nick Martinez for you.
Yeah, he's kind of went from not going to start to starting again, right?
With Paddock cleared out.
Yeah. It's we're not sure. They're not the greatest of matchups, so maybe I am being conservative here because we don't know. So I'm going to say 1 because we just don't know what Martinez is.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Chris Flexen last year had a pretty nice season, so maybe that gives Nick Martinez some hope. But Chris Flexen, Matt Brash for Seattle, at Minnesota for Flexen, then at versus Houston. Then for Brash, it's at the White Sox versus Houston. Not a great 2-step to get your feet wet in the majors for Brash. So I like Brash, but I can only probably give him a 2. And the fact that he's got to face the Houston Astros, flexing's probably a 1 for me. So flexing 1, Brash 2. I need to see a little bit more from Brash before I put him in the circle of trust.
Yeah, I can't argue with either of those. I mean, Brash was competing against Ronaldo Lopez in the first game. We talked about that, maybe a good spot. But yeah, I'll go 1 and 2 as well.
Alex Wood versus San Diego at Cleveland. I'm going to give him a 3, I think. Just because I don't know how, stretched out he is and how deep he'll go. I like his skills, but 3 for me on Wood. There's always a chance he leaves one of those with an injury, of course.
Yeah, I don't know that prevents me from starting him, though.
No.
So I think I am going to go 4 because I think he's a 4 quality.
Okay.
But anytime you start Alex Wood, last year he stayed pretty healthy, though.
True.
But anytime you start Wood, there's a potential of, getting, only one of the 2 starts.
In Tout Wars the other day, I picked up Dakota Hudson. That is a points league that I'm in. So, not really risking my ratios, but versus Pitt at Milwaukee. I love that for points leagues. Roto leagues, I'll probably give Dakota Hudson a 2.
I'm not.
Just because he's coming back from Tommy John.
Yeah, I'm not a Dakota Hudson guy. If I go 1, it's generous. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go. I don't trust it. I'm gonna go 0.
Okay. Well, yeah. Again, a little bit more hesitant in a Roto league, but in that points league, I felt why not? Just hopefully a guy in a 2-step. Hopefully get me positive points this week. So there's a chance he gets me in the red. But Jordan Hicks. What a weird saga for him. Looked like he was starting, then back to the bullpen, then starting again. So they're going to let him build up. But, versus KC, versus Milwaukee, or at Milwaukee, not bad, but until Jordan Hicks is built up a little more, I'm not considering him. So he's a 0.
No, I agree.
Yeah, so kind of a weird path for him, but we'll see about his role over the long term. Luis Patino and one of your guys from years past, Ryan Yarbrough for Tampa Bay. So versus Oakland at the White Sox. I think I'm going to have to give these guys both 0s, although I do like Luis Patino's upside in time.
Yeah, I wish, if it turns out that 1 or 2 of these is being used as as a primary pitcher, I would change my tune. I would use them both as a well, I don't know about Yarbrough, but I'm going to go 1 Patino. I'm going to go 1 for both. I'm almost thinking a 2 for Patino, but I'm going to go 1 for both. And if it turns out Patino is a primary pitcher, I will go 2.
Gotcha. All right, so we're back to the grid here. Final few teams. Did you get Taylor Hearn last night in the Staff Keeper League?
I believe I got him in reserve, yes.
Okay, yeah. For some reason that stuck in my head. But did you get him with maybe deploying him for this 2-step in mind?
No, I wish I was. I wish I did. I like Taylor Hearn.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the team context. I talked about that a few times. I like Mitch Garver behind the plate. I like the park, and I think they'll score not a bunch of runs, but I think they'll score enough. I like Taylor Hearn as Dane Dunning, who I believe I got him in the actual auction, and I do not like Martin Perez. I can say that. But anyway, Hearn. I don't want to go overboard with my affection, so I am going to keep it to a 3. But I like those matchups.
Oh wow! Okay, I was going to go 1, but I got you down for a 3.
Yeah. I mean, my head, I want to go 4 to justify. I mean, lefties against Colorado, it's always a winning combination, especially on the road. LA could be tough, obviously, but I don't know. When Matt Duffy is your cleanup hitter, I'm not all that
what the hell was that about?
We were talking leadoff hitters before, yeah. Matt Duffy, to me, wasn't that like a DVR setup? Ohtani, Trout, Rendon, Duffy. Reminded me of a DVR team.
That's funny. Yeah, I remember we had our default orders, and I put him in the 2-hole, Matt Duffy, but I did not expect to see him in the cleanup spot. That just doesn't seem like a Matt Duffy spot.
No.
So the final few guys here, final 4. Alek Manoah, he's a 5 for me. I've been waiting on this one. He does have to go to the Yankees. at at Yankees. But he don't forget he made his debut against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium and was dominant. So you going like 3 or 4 on Manoah? Your laugh makes me think you're going lower.
A lot higher than 3. I don't know if I'll. Yeah, you know what? I'm a Manoah guy too. He of the 5 so far, I bet he comes out lowest of the 5s, a lot because of at New York. But I'm going to give him a 5. I think he'll be in the top 20 easily.
Yeah, I kind of have him in that same grouping as Wheeler for at least the first week, because we don't know Wheeler's pitch count. But I think in a vacuum I'd have Wheeler higher, but this week, both 5s for me.
Yeah.
All right. Yusei Kikuchi, he gets the Yankees and Oakland as well. And I feel a lot less confident in. I do kind of still have some hope for Kikuchi, but I'm going to give Yusei Kikuchi a 1 in these matchups.
Yeah, I was thinking too, do we go to the 2 or does he need to prove it? I'm going to go 2. I'm going to go 2. And a lot of that is just confidence that he'll get there, and more of it is I expect he'll do well against Oakland at home.
Final 2 here, both for the Washington Nationals.
These are easy.
Anibal Sanchez is a 0, right?
Yes, he is.
I need to see if he can even stick around in the big leagues. And then Patrick Corbin, another kind of like Robbie Ray rule where I would never say never here anymore. And at Atlanta, at Pitt, that second half isn't so bad, but I can't go higher than a 1 on Corbin. And that's probably generous.
I had that game on while we were doing the league last night, but I didn't have the sound on. Mm-hmm. Then looking at the box score is one of those where you can't tell either way. He didn't stink, but he wasn't sharp either, Yeah. So I guess you got to give, deference to the at Pittsburgh and give him a 1.
I'm with you. Well, let's recap our grades for the week of April 11th, first full week of MLB action. Our grades for the 2-start starters for next week on a 0 to 5 scale: Huascar Ynoa 3, Bruce Zimmerman 0, Michael Wacha 1, Drew Smyly 0, Tyler Mahle 4, Aaron Savali, I say 3, Todd 4, Austin Gomber 0, Ronaldo Lopez 0, Tariq Skubal, kind of a big gap here. I say 1, Todd 3. Tyler Alexander 0. I actually put Cesar Hernandez on the sheet. Carlos Hernandez, I say 1, Todd 2. Daniel Lynch 0. Andrew Heaney, I say 2, Todd 1. Eliezer Hernandez, I say 1, Todd 2. Adrian Hauser, I say 1, Todd 2. Eric Lauer, I say 2, Todd 3. Taijuan Walker 1, Jameson Taillon 3, Nestor Cortez 2, Paul Blackburn 0, Adam Oler 0, Ranger Suarez 4, Zach Wheeler 5, Zach Thompson 0, Jose Quintana 0, Nick Martinez 1, Yu Darvish 5, Chris Flexen 1, Matt Brash 2, Alex Wood, I say 3, Todd 4, Dakota Hudson, I say 2, Todd 0 on Hudson. Jordan Hicks 0. Luis Patino, I say 0, Todd 1. Ryan Yarborough, I say 0, Todd 1. Taylor Hearn, I say 1, Todd 3. Alek Manoah 5. Yusei Kikuchi, I say 1, Todd 2. Anibal Sanchez 0. Patrick Corbin 1. So we got through the first week. Todd, anything else on your mind today?
We got through the first week, man.
We're here.
We got through the first week. Let's get through many more.
I'm with you there. Thanks for carving out time, and can't wait for another great season with you, Todd, here on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast, brought to you by WinBet. Hope you'll join us next Friday, and good luck this week. Talk to you soon.